And welcome back to Banter Pirates. My God, a lot's happened. I keep saying that every time I come back because there's these voids, and I apologize for that. Election's over. I'm very, very grateful for the way that turned out. It has been absolutely hysterical to watch people absolutely freaking losing it, especially the left. Crazy. We have taken the Senate, and we are on the cusp of taking the House, which means he should be in really good shape to go ahead and get some of this cleaned up, taken care of. The cabinet picks he's been doing have been amazing. But today we're going to visit the View, or I should refer to it as the Spew. And this was the night after the election. We had some of these idiots show up in black like they were mourning a funeral, and there's not much more I can say about it except it's just the View, and they're a bunch of nuts. So let's take this little ride together and enjoy this craziness.
So what happened last night? Anybody do anything interesting? Okay. The 2024 presidential race ended yesterday, and this is what the country and the world woke up to this morning.
Yes.
Take a look.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We have a country that...
You know how much this guy's going to have to clean up? It's going to be insane.
Needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Amen.
So, how you feel?
I'll start.
I feel pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy.
Froggy from Little Rascals is talking.
People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises that we need to protest, which I'm sure it will. And I've been through this before with Nixon. It's been
How freaking old is this wench?
very difficult. But boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
Yeah. Well, echoing the sentiments, Joy, one of the first thing I wanted to say for anyone that needs an example of when the person you voted for does not win, you do not say the system must be broken or that it was rigged. You say it is what it is, and you show up anyway.
2020, I'm going to go on record saying it was rigged a little bit.
And I want to commend all those people that voted, because you sometimes hear people say, well, it didn't matter. No, it did matter. That was still your currency. That was still your power. Most of you. And then a lot of what I think about is what I always tell my kids when things go on. You feel what you feel. Everyone has different emotions. Some people got what they wanted. A lot of people didn't. And you feel anything that comes up, and then you turn around and you say, let's look at the tapes. Let's see what we did. Let's see how we continue to fight.
No, I would prefer if you just keep doing what you're doing, because that worked out beautifully.
For the people that we care about, and you take one step in front of the other. And so here we are today, and I still feel that optimistic because I feel arm in arm with so many people who agree with me, and I'm not going to stop marching.
Okay, but that's the problem. You keep repeating the same things over and over again and being around people that are freaking nuts.
So
I like this pep talk, Coach Haynes. Listen, is it the outcome I wanted? No, but we live in a democracy. I have my vote.
Right.
Millions of people cast their votes did. And what's important to me is this. Tens of millions of Americans, our friends, our neighbors, our family members, voted for Donald Trump. We disagree with him. I know we all do at this table, but they are good, decent people who are patriots and love this country. And I can't speak to what drove them to the conclusion of being with him, but I think it is a moment for us to listen to each other, to hear each other, express what our concerns are. I've spent the last 4 years doing that, and also listen to people who are with him, because this is a country that there is truly more that unites us than divides us. I know it doesn't feel like that for many people in this moment, but we need
Are we reunited 100%.
Need to bring down the temperature, the name calling, the demonizing. Let the other side, if they want to do that, they can do it. But I think it is a moment to listen to the voters. And this, I have to say, I've always thought he could win. I thought in the final stretch she might eke it out.
It's amazing that people actually thought that when you listen to any of her conversations.
I didn't expect it to be this resounding, and I think there are some lessons from it. I think we forget about rural America. I think the working class feels left behind. They feel like the powerful, the elite only care about them and their power. And he spoke to them. We may not have liked his words, but they turned out for him. I mean, the map was, it was beyond Reagan what we saw last night. And I think we need to
Fear the frog.
start listening more about the concerns of everyday Americans who feel like this system is
Joey's always got something nasty to say about everything. Wench.
When Reagan won, I remember the whole map was red.
Yeah.
No,
It was pretty red last night.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was America Makes
This will be a classic response here from this jackass.
a perilous choice. I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now.
We know now.
We know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry, not about myself, actually.
Really?
I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class.
Do you?
I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have.
What? Oh, good Lord.
And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that.
How? See, this is what's wrong. This is what is completely wrong with the frickin' left. They make no sense whatsoever.
So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
Well,
And so that box better be taken off. And I think our healthcare system is now at risk. I think
no fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made clear that he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion.
Oh, okay.
I'm worried about mass deportation and internment
I'm not.
camps. And I'm also worried about Elon Musk warning Americans to prepare for temporary hardship.
Yep.
I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy.
Okay, that sentence, like right there, that whole statement. What the hell does that have to do with being a president of the United States? Nada.
Could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was
She didn't have any.
a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Well, I think it, I think it has to do with a lot of things, that being one of them. I'm obviously very disappointed. I'm very sad. I was at the Kamala Harris headquarters yesterday in Washington. And
It was actually nice of you to show up, because considering that bitch didn't even have enough respect to come out and speak to people that had been on her side.
it was a very sad scene. The mood turned immediately. And I tell you, there's a quote I get a lot of inspiration from, and it's a quote that I read when I was reading about John F. Kennedy. And it says, "Whether I am on the winning or the losing side is not the point with me. It is being on the side where my sympathies lie that matters." And that to me brought me a consolation and inspiration this morning, because I have no regrets.
Yep.
I worked hard as hell. to elect the first Black Asian woman president.
Again.
History slipped through our fingers again.
What?
I worked hard as hell for Donald Trump not to be president. But today, unlike Donald Trump and his followers, I acknowledge that he won.
You couldn't have stopped it, honey. I mean, I know you think for some reason like people that are in entertainment or whatever have some kind of a pull or some kind of influence. This is an indication, this election, that you guys don't mean shit to us.
I hope for the best for our country, and I make a commitment to our LGBTQ, to our immigrants, to our elderly,
Who's she
to our
pointing at?
young girls, to the women, that we will not stop fighting. We can be sad today. Today we can be sad.
You're going to be sad for the next 4 freaking years, hopefully longer than that.
Tomorrow we stand up and we continue. We have every right as Americans, because we love this country, because this is the most exceptional country in the world, we have the right and the duty to speak up and denounce abuses of power, to be vigilant. And so I invite all Americans to do it. But
So why didn't they speak up when the abuse of power was used to go after our president over and over and over and over? It's a double standard.
we are doing what they didn't do. We are recognizing they won. Now let's see what happens when he is
You mean
governor.
they?
Well,
You act
look,
like 75 million people stormed the Capitol.
we said to people, vote. We didn't tell people who to vote for.
Right.
We just
Well, I
said,
did.
go out. Well, yes, but I did not,
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
because I wanted to make sure people exercise that right. Too many people that I know died trying to vote.
Who does she know that died trying to vote? I don't really understand that statement.
Okay, so we start with that. And think about this. She did this in 2 months.
Okay, think about this. 2 months, raised $1 billion, lost the election, and now she's in the hole. So what would she have done with your money for the next 4 years? Pretty damn scary.
She did this in 2 months.
She left it all on the field.
You know,
Yes, she
look,
did.
she, you know,
The
everybody
flawless campaign.
can always say, oh, she should have done this, she should have done this, she did what she did. She was everywhere. She talked to everybody.
No, she didn't.
And people didn't come out. I don't know why, and it doesn't even matter. He's now the president. I'm still not going to say his name.
Okay. Nobody wants to hear it out of your mouth anyway. That's not going to change.
I have faith that some good, decent people are going to work for him. I've heard from some folks today. I think there's some reasons to be hopeful that people who
It's
believe
been
in public
amazing.
service in the country are going to go in.
The thing that I wanted to finish up with is it's hard for some of us to hear that rhetoric after 50 years, you know, after 70 years, to hear that rhetoric coming back, to hear things that came out of people's mouths that we all decided as a public group, we weren't going to talk to each other that way.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hear that, I feel okay when I'm pissed at somebody who's talking down to somebody else. I'm
That's valid.
all right with that. What I'm not all right with is trying to further wreck the country.
And there you have it, everybody. The spew in all of its glory. There's a lot of takeaways you can take from that. Some of the things they said I do agree with. Most of what they say is I would have to say I do not. It's just kind of a crazy show, and they talk crazy. And Joy is just like insane. One of the biggest things that I took away from this is like a lot of these entertainers, celebrities think we actually give two shits about how they think about other political opponents. And 9 times out of 10, the people that voted for Trump this time around, including myself, I don't vote on personality. I vote on policy. Kamala had no policy. Joe was just an absolute joke. He was just some puppet they stuck in there that muddled around and fell for the last 4 years. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to do more because this is not going to stop. This is going to be 4 years of nuts. People just losing their mind. Inauguration's coming up. I hope they protect our president, keep him safe, so he can do the job that he said he was going to do. I really believe he's going to. We're going to see some major changes. I think it's going to be great. If you like this channel, please subscribe, share it, tell your friends. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to keep following these lefts. We're going to keep following these nuts. And we're going to see you soon. Thank you again.